Welcome back to another Computer Sluggish video. Have you subscribed to my YouTube channel yet? If not, be sure to click on the big red subscribe button and click on the bell to get notified when I upload a new video. And check out my forum at computersluggish.com. In today's video, I will be showing you how to make a Minecraft Dungeons YouTube banner. And the first thing you need to do is head on over to my forum where you will be able to get all the links I use in this video. And the first thing you need to do is click on the first link that's on my forum and you will end up on a page that looks like this. You now need to scroll down and click on channel art, and you now need to click on this link here to download the channel art template. Once you have finished downloading that zip folder, you need to extract the zip folder and then you'll end up with a channel art template folder. You need to go into this folder and open up the first image. And we now need to right click and copy this image. We now need to open up Gimp, and you now need to go File, New, and you now need to type in 2560 for the width, and for the height we need to put 1440 and press OK. We now need to go Control and V to paste the image in for our template. And we now need to press this green button here to create a new layer. And there we go. That is the template we will be using for this video. As you can see, we have our text and logo safe area. We need to make sure we put anything we want displayed on all devices in this area. To start off with, first we want to create a new layer and press OK. We now want to select our paintbrush tool. And we want to make sure we have this paintbrush here selected, the fourth one in. And we now want to make sure we have the colour black selected. And we want to change the size. Let's go to about, let's go with 5. You now need to zoom in slightly. And we need to click between this line. As you can see, there's a line. If we put our crosshair on that line and click. And you now need to zoom out and hold down Control and hold down Shift, and you will get a perfect line. You now need to click, and as you can see, we now have a perfect black line all the way across. To zoom in and out, all you need to do is hold down Control and use the scroll on your mouse. We now want to do the same again on the bottom line, but this time we want to create another new layer, and we're now just going to do the same and click on the line and zoom out, holding Control and using the wheel on the mouse, and then hold down Control and Shift and then click. Cool, we now have a perfect black line at the top and at the bottom. I'm actually going to rename these layers. I'm going to call this one bottom line and we're going to call this one top line. There we go. And we now want to create another new layer. And we now want to zoom in to the right hand side and we want to now create another new line. I'm going to go down about there and we're going to click and we're then going to zoom back out and hold down Control and Shift to get the perfect line. We're not going to go halfway, we're going to go slightly before halfway. Let's go to about the R and we're going to click. We now need to zoom in again. And we need to click on our black line, and you now need to hold down Control and Shift again, and we want to go up to the other black line, like that. There we go, that looks cool. The next thing we want to do now is we want to right click on that layer and we want to duplicate the layer. We now have a copy of that layer and we now want to drag that layer over slightly to the right hand side, but we want to rotate the layer. Which means we now need to select our transform tool on the top left hand side, and we then need to click on our line, and we now need to simply scroll out and just go to the outside of the box until you can see that icon you can see on my screen now, and we just want to simply rotate. There we go. And we now want to move this into the same position as the other line but on the other side, which means we want to go there. And if I go all the way along and make sure the black line is in the correct position this side. There we go, that looks good to me. Okay, we can now press transform and there we go. We now have black lines either side and they're going across. That looks brilliant. We can now rename those layers if we want, or you can just merge them into the other lines. That's up to you. I'm just going to leave them now as layer and layer copy because I know what they are. The next thing we want to do is grab our image. The example image I am using in this video is on the Minecraft website, and it's this one here. I will put a link to the image on my forum. Once you have got the image you want to use, all you need to do is right click and go copy, and then we want to go back to Gimp. You now need to go Control and V to paste it in, and press the green button to create a new layer. We now want to drag that all the way down below the lines, and then we just want to move the image out of the way for a minute. Because the next thing we want to do is create our text. We now want to go all the way back to the top of our layers, and we want to select our text tool. I'm going to use Impact font for this video because I like the look of Impact. I think it looks great. And the colour, we are going to choose white. We now need to click roughly where it says text and logo safe area, and you now need to type in your YouTube channel name. I'm going to put computer sluggish. You can choose where you'd like the text to sit. I'm just going to roughly put it about there because that's in the centre. The next thing we want to do now is go to the other link that's in the description below to get the Facebook logos. You will end up on a page that looks like this. There are terms and conditions and guidelines. Just read through them, and then once you agree, download the package. You will then end up with a zip folder. You then need to unzip the folder, and you will end up with all these folders here. We now need to go back to Gimp, and you now need to go to File and Open. And we now want to go to that Facebook folder, and you then want to go to Facebook Online, and then we want to go onto white, and you now need to go onto PNG, and then you need to select the white logo. Or you can go onto the colours and select the coloured logo. I'm going to select the 512.png, and we're now going to go Control and A and then go Control and C to copy the logo. We now need to go back to our GIMP template and go Control and V. And we now need to click on the green icon to create a new layer. And there we go, we have one Facebook logo. That looks great. We now want to do the same again, go File, Open. You need to click on the other link that's on the forum to download the Twitter icons or logos. Once you have read their terms and conditions and that, you can press download, and you will then end up with another folder that looks like this with all the Twitter logos in. We want to go to that folder now on GIMP. We now want to go into all brands, and then we want to go into Twitter social icons, and we now want to click on circle, and then we want to select the white.png and press open. We now want to go Control and A, and then we want to go Control and C. Once you have copied the image, we can go back to our project file and press Control and V, and you now need to press the green icon to create a new layer. We now want to move the Twitter logo down to the other side, and we now want to press the transform tool, and we want to make it fit between these black lines. You need to click on the logo or icon and just simply drag it down until you're happy with the size. Let's just zoom in a little bit more. And there we go. That's almost there. That looks perfect. We can now press transform. And there we go. We have the Twitter icon down there. And we want to do the same for the Facebook. Click on your transform tool. And then we just want to simply drag it down. You could always put the Facebook and the Twitter next to each other. And then make sure you get the same size for both the icons, which as you can see, that is actually pretty perfect. Yeah, that looks good. Cool. If we now go to the top and then simply press transform and get our move tool and just move the Facebook up there. That is now coming along nicely. We have our text, we have the Facebook icon and the Twitter icon. We now want to select our image that we pasted in earlier, and we want to select the transform tool and select the image, and we want to simply drag this down until it fills the whole image. There we go, and press transform. You may have an image that's already big enough anyway, but I didn't. There we go, that's looking good. As you can see, we've got our black lines and we've got all our Twitter and Facebook logo, like I said. Right, the next thing we want to do though is make it a bit more clear, because at the moment you can't hardly see the black lines and the text. The image is kind of overpowering. We now want to get onto the rectangle select tool, and we want to go between the black line and drag it along and then go to there. As you can see, I've selected between the top black line and the bottom black line. We now want to go Control and C, and we want to go Control and V and press the green. We've now selected that area of the Minecraft image. We now want to go up to filters and we want to go to blur. We can now go ahead and select any blur of your choice. I'm just going to select the top option. And we're just going to add a slight blur to the image to basically make it easier to see our text. And let's just go down a little bit. There we go. As you can see, that's now brung out the text and the icons more. If we now press OK, and if we now bring back the other image, there we go. As you can see, we've done a nice little blur, but you still got the Minecraft in the background. We can't actually see the black lines that great, which means I'm going to select my bucket tool now and select white. I'm now going to go onto the bottom line and I'm just going to click to change it white, and we're then going to do the same for the top line, and we're going to do the same for the other two lines that we created earlier, which if we go across, I think it was that one. No, it wasn't. It must have been that one. There we go. That's good. And select that one. There we go. That looks much better. We can now see the lines because black didn't go very well with the background here. If you don't want the blur, then you don't need to do the blur. You can always just hide that layer. But I kind of like the blur on there. It just adds that sort of nice effect. The next thing you want to do is put your text next to your icons. All you need to do is select your text tool, and then we can then go there on Twitter, and I could put CS Tutorials. That's not actually my Twitter, it's Computer Slug. If I change the size slightly, also you can change the font, you don't have to keep using the same one as me. And let's just duplicate that and then put that up there. Okay, that has come along very nice, and that is it. That is the Minecraft Dungeons YouTube banner. I hope this tutorial did help and give you a fantastic base to work on for your banner. Like I said at the start of this video, you can download the template as an example from my forum for free. Don't forget to hit the like button below and subscribe for more computer sluggish tutorials. Don't forget to check out my social media channels and forum.